Bonjour, I am Pierre Lamontagne and we're in Cornwall, Ontario. I would like to welcome you to the Saguenay Lac Saint-Jean regions of the province of Quebec, where my layout is located. I have essentially replaced the Canadian National and the Roberval Saguenay, the two real railroad, with my own, the Chambord and Alfred. It is an HO scale layout, and as you will see, it could get a little busy at times. The era is 1941. I've selected this era because, one, I like steam engines and antique cars, and second, I can run some wartime traffic, which keeps the layout a little busier than it would be otherwise. Let me talk about operation on this layout, which is one of the key features now that I'm pretty well built. Before the pandemic, we were at the point that we were using timetable and train orders, which was quite an involved process because my operators needed to be at certain place at certain time. It wasn't always easy, but we made it work. Because of the pandemic, we went back to a previous system that I was using, which is basically what I call clearance by smoke. You see the other guy coming, you make sure you meet him at a place where it works. What I have is a departure sheet where every train on the layout will have a sequence, not a timing. Therefore, the guys know once they finish the train, they can go to the next one and run it. The train orders themselves still exist, and they're a handwritten train order, which means as the guy between the operations, I am writing these things that basically tell you what your train is, what your locomotive is, what the cars in the train are, and what you do as you run alongside or on the layout. It's, I would say, workable once you figure it out. Key feature now. Please allow me to talk to you a little bit about the paper mill. A real paper mill would take most of the size of this basement because of all the machineries and building and wood piles and all of this. So I've concentrated basically on the rail yard. The yard itself is 5 tracks, which is larger than some other yards around the layout. Those 5 tracks consist of a coal delivery track, a departure track, an arrival track, a chemical track which has lots of space for extra cars, and finally a cleanup and loading track. So all the railroad action that would happen on a paper mill can be done, which allows me to have an operator work full-time here during a session. I didn't have the space, but I still wanted to have the aluminum smelter. So what I ended up doing is use one track, which I call the Alcan lead. This is where cars are exchanged from one by a train for another bunch of cars. In the background, I basically put in a photo of an industry, not necessarily of a smelter, and then ran the track to the wall basically. The pink uppers are bauxite cars, and that's the color that they ended up after years of loading bauxite. And I've seen real cars of that nature in scrap yards when the railroad changed them for another bunch of hoppers. Let's talk scenery. One thing that I've done a lot because of the region I'm in is forest, and therefore there's a lot of texture to these areas. Most of the trees that you see, especially the spruce, I've built myself out of from directions that you can find in just about any model railroad magazines. So the colors are varied depending of the kind of paints that I had at the time and that kind of stuff. There's also a mix between leafy trees and what I call the black spruce, because that's what most paper mill use. So by mixing them as much as I could, I got to get that variety that you're looking at. And I'll add one little thing. Somewhere in that forest there are trees that were painted with basically red paint, and they look sick. That's exactly what I've used to see in the forest in the Saguenay Lac Saint Jean. So they're in there, but they just are part of the scenery like the others. Wheat field. So I'm a runner. One day, a few years ago, I was running alongside one of the roads here in Cornwall when I spotted this piece of sisal twine. It looked brand new, nice golden color. So I picked it up and brought it home to see what I could do with it. After cutting out lots of small pieces and gluing them one by one, this is what it looks like now. This little sawmill is a fine-scale miniature kit of the early 1980s, which I had purchased probably around 1983. It didn't get built until 2005 when I was finally getting to this section of the layout. I just didn't have the space at the time. Not a single piece was warped, and the instructions were very good. So I ended up with something that looks like it was supposed to.